Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. CBEX was a digital trading asset platform that gave investors 100% return on investment in 30 days. Its purported goals was to create a secure, transparent environment for transactions. However, its operational model came under scrutiny as allegations of fraud and deceptive practices emerged. Now, the platform was said to display falsified withdrawal records to mask the difficulties users encountered when trying to access their funds. Nigerians on several social media platforms had begun to count their losses as of course, the digital asset trading platform, popularly known as CBEX, reportedly swept over 1.3 trillion naira from their investors' accounts. The digital trading platform crashed Monday after the money in their investors' wallet vanished. CBEX also locked its Telegram channel and postponed its withdrawal while giving investors the lifeline of $2,000 for $200 verification and $1,000 for $100 verification. I'm so sorry, I can't help myself. I've been laughing all through when I saw this story. But hey, it's another beautiful episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways. My name remains Osayiwa Mesale, and today we're asking, why do Nigerians keep falling for this get-rich scheme, right? This get-rich-quick scheme, right? Why do they always fall for it? And of course, I have a guest that will be joining me much later, Orume Dominic. He's an AIX consultant and blockchain architect. Now, them. And he'll be joining me much later. But remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in Ways. So be a part of all the conversations. You can head on to our YouTube channel, it's at Official Upgrade TV. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, and invite your families and friends to join the show right now. You can also send us and add me on our WhatsApp line. The number is 081-803-84663 to join in live via video. When we open the phone lines, you can also be a part of the conversation by just dialing into the phone lines. All right, as always, let me allow you to ponder on my quote for today. It says, "It is now an offense for any entity to operate an online forex trading platform or provide related services without prior registration with the commission, and this was said by the Securities and Exchange Commission." Okay, so I've been laughing all through today. I don't know how people keep falling into all this Ponzi scheme, your get rich quick. How can somebody tell you safe? Is it financial illiteracy, or this one is not financial? I think it's just, I think there's a huge part of greed in all of these things. That's what I think, but it's not for me to say. I would really love to hear, your thoughts on these issues, right? We'll delve into all of this much later, but first, let me run off a break. When I come back from that break, I want to let you in on my news interest for the day. Stay with me. Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time. All right, thanks for staying tuned. So we're going to start off the news interest for today, and we're going to be talking. I'm taking the story that I found in the Punch. It says the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Peter Obi, had cancelled his scheduled visit to Benue State, citing a cautionary statement issued by the state government as the reason for shelving this trip. Obi, who was expected in Benue on Monday as part of the humanitarian outreach, expressed disappointment over the political undertone surrounding the visit, saying the move to halt his activity reflected a growing trend of politicizing charitable efforts in the country. The Labour Party chieftain had planned courtesy visits and stops at internally displaced persons camps and health facilities in the state, but a statement from the state government warned against unscheduled visits, citing security concerns. In this statement, it was titled "Notice Regarding an Unscheduled Visit to Benue State," and this was from Governor Hyacinth Alia through his chief press secretary. He declared that the government was unaware of Peter Obi's visit and could not guarantee his safety. What a wow. Okay, so while I get that, what's the word? In fairness, Peter Obi right now, right, is a bone in the throat of a lot of politicians, meaning that, you know, he's giving a lot of politicians a run for their money just by the mere fact that he is generally, you know, loved by a lot of people, a lot of young people. So it is very likely that if he visited Benue State, there might be like a mob, you know, people gathering him and all of that. But, you know, this statement from the state government is actually very worrisome, right? It's worrisome because now what we are seeing is the lines between politics, like the former presidential candidate has stated, and just doing normal things has truly become blurred, right? You really can't tell who is doing politics and who is doing what. You can't tell that. So, yes, I get that that is that. But that also then also brings this to the fore about how a chief security officer of a state, is this a show of incompetence? Or is just you saying that I know where my allegiance lies and I'm just warning you, don't come close, right? Because that is where the political undertone comes in. But you can also not take away the fact that it was when I got to Lagos that I realized that a lot of, would I call them charitable work that people do, they actually do them in preparation for future ROIs, and future ROIs would be around, you know, getting political, what's it called? Political popularity, right? So a lot of people that do a lot of charitable work, they go to build boreholes, they go to fix street lights, they go to do all of these things. Most of those people, you find that a lot of times they actually have some political, ambition. And in the long run, they usually do it around where they feel like, you know, especially for those that are like state players. So they will go to their local government area, they'll go to their constituency to do those kinds of things so that when it's time and their posters come out, they will generally just get that liking from the people. So it is also very understandable if the government is, you know, putting this as an undertone for a political, like a subtle political, mobilization or movement by Peter Obi. It is also very, very normal for them to have that undertone. But then again, we cannot say because politics is at play, people should not, you know, go and help humanity. You know, it's just a mixed thing. I have a lot of things to say, but I'll just keep it there. Both sides, there's a lot of undertone to a lot of things. But I'm just saying that what is more worrisome for me is the subtle threat by the governor saying that, you know, they cannot guarantee safety. That is very scary. So what it means is that, you know, come 2027, when the campaign is really, really heated. These are the kinds of statements you start to hear. We can't guarantee your safety, you don't come. That is what we'll start to hear, unfortunately. Well, you will say that I said so when it's time, when it's 2027. So I'll move on to my next very, very sad story on a very sad note. The governor of Plateau State has apologized over the Plateau attacks. So let me pull out the story. He said, and I read, he says, where is this story now? It says, following the recent attack that claimed more than 50 lives in Zike and Basa local government area of Plateau State, Caleb Muftwang has apologized to grieving families, admitting the government's inability to safeguard, I just said that now, safeguard their lives and property. The governor, visibly emotional during a condolence visit on Tuesday, addressed residents at the palace of the paramount ruler of Mainango. He confessed to being overwhelmed by grief following the massacre that occurred in the early hours of Monday, 14th of April. He says, I will tell you the truth. I have been crying since yesterday because I had trusted God, really, that all arrangements were put in place, that this will not happen again. We have made investments in security, but like all human arrangements, sometimes they fail. I want to admit that on Sunday night into Monday morning, we failed you because, please forgive us. He says the recent attack, of course, as you know, the recent attack follows closely on the heels of another brutal incident that happened in Boko's local government area just 2 weeks prior, where scores were also killed, raising fresh concerns about the deteriorating security situations across the state. While acknowledging the limitations of existing effort, the governor urged residents to remain vigilant and continue supporting security efforts through community intelligence and self-protection measures. He said, we must not give up, he said, and he also appealed for unity and resilience. As part of the visit, he also met several families who had lost loved ones in the attack and offered words of comfort and solidarity. So long and short story is, what I had just said prior to from the previous story around Benue State is the same thing, right? Where what we're having now across Nigeria is almost some level of incompetence, to protecting lives and property. The first primary assignment of the executive governor of any state is to protect lives and properties, and if you're not able to do that, it means that there is a lapse that would need to probably be sorted, right? And to the state governor that was mentioning God, I don't think this is a God situation. God has given us all the wisdom that we need to solve certain kinds of problems. This is a human problem. We've heard several times of how, people have pointed fingers at prominent people being linked to some of these, persistent attacks and killings in Nigeria. And yet, till date, we have not, one person have not been convicted for these crimes. We've also said several times that if you want to trace these people, they use arms, they eat food, there's welfare, there's so many things that can be traced. If truly the government is really serious about curbing insecurity in Nigeria, there are so many things that can be done. Then if we keep on pumping money into security in this country and we are still failing in our security apparatus, then it means that some people need to be sacked, some people need to be jailed, some people need, literally, some people need to be jailed and some people need to be hung, as far as I'm concerned, because it means that you are either turning a blind eye or you are just choosing to be complacent so that you can continue to milk the situation. That is what is going on in Nigeria. And sadly, a lot of lives are being lost in the process. It's just a sad situation. We can't keep, hearing these things every day in and out of the news. It's quite depressing. It's quite depressing. And this is beyond just compensating or telling the families you're sorry or you failed, you forgive. No, it's beyond that. The only way you can show to the families that you are truly sorry is that if we start to see people, being brought to book, especially as regards attacks and killings in these regions. I'll take a break now. When I come back from that break, we'll continue the conversation on CBEX. Stay with us. So in an attempt to understand what went wrong with the CBEX platform, a cryptocurrency expert and security analyst, I believe his name was Taiwo Owolabi, said data had shown that the money that was in the CBEX account was moved to a TRX address. So let me get the meaning, because you see, these are all strange terminologies to me. I don't do anything crypto, anything online. I don't do that. So TRX is typically refers to as Tron, is a cryptocurrency and blockchain-based platform that aims to provide a decentralized and scalable network for entertainment and content sharing. So this is what Taiwo Owolabi said, that data showed that the money was moved to a TRX address, and the total volume stolen right now so far on that platform is about $847 million. They call it USDT. That typically refers to as Tether US dollars, a type of stable coin currency pegged to the value of the United States dollars. Is designed to maintain a stable value, reducing volatility often associated with cryptocurrency. So this USDT is a type of cryptocurrency. So he said that $847 million was likely, stolen. And he says it's also going to increase. Owolabi also stressed that invested funds are gone because CBEX is not a licensed platform. And the creators designed a weak website to look like Bybit, which is a legitimate trading platform. They also designed the weak website to convince people in the future that it was a security breach that affected them, not that they were actually Yahoo people that came together to create that platform. Because I believe that they can only be fraudulent people. Now, apparently, when you make payments, you pay them into a TRX account, and then immediately they move it from the TRX wallet, gather it, convert it to the USDT, then to ETH. So ETH means Ethereum. In the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, ETH refers to the native currency of the Ethereum network. You see why I cannot be part of this thing? Because everything is confusing to me. So when you are logging into your account, there is literally no money on your profile. What you see are just numbers, all the daily activities you do, of course, all the daily activities rather you do to trade and increase your money. All this is AI generated, and all the AI trading, according to what they have observed now, they were all fake. And of course, when it's time to withdraw, they will send you another person's money because somebody else has invested. They will send you another person's money. And since you won't be leaving them because of greed, as I mentioned earlier, you will most likely put the money back and even more. So they will use the same money to pay another person, and that person will also, it's just a vicious cycle. That person will also collect the money and add more. As you spread the word for them, of course, bring 10 people to get this, bring 50 people to get this, more people will continue to do same and they will join. So we saw the video that went viral in Ibadan, because I saw that video like on Monday night, and I couldn't make sense of it. I just saw people trying to vandalize a company. I could not make sense of it. I was wondering what was going on. Apparently, it is CBEX. It is, for those that are old school like me, it is another version of MMM, right? They just this time around they are using AI and they're using technology to cash out. But joining me to shed more light in this conversation is Orume Dominic, and I believe he has joined me via Zoom. Thank you for joining me, Orume.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hey, Orume, all you blockchainers. You know, when I see you people, I see 419, 419, 419. So help me correct that myth, right? Because I just feel sometimes that this cryptocurrency, blockchain, all this digital, what's it called, trading and all of that, I don't know, for the life of me, I just feel like this thing is just fraud. I don't know how I am not able to understand it, because it makes no sense to me. I try to understand it sometimes. There was one time they were doing NFT, or whatever it is. Like, how can you be sending some kind of ridiculous painting at some expensive exhibit? You are buying land in space. Please help me make it make sense. So please, what is going on with First of all, did you invest in CBX? CBEX.
Myself, I did not invest in CBX because of education and the level of expertise that I've gained over the years. However, let's quickly start with the comment that you made, which is the fact that you are scared of blockchainers and people that are in the technological space. I want you to note this, that every technology, every invention, every product has its good side and its bad side. For example, the internet that we're using to communicate now, to share this information to the rest of the world and educate them on what has happened, is one of the good use cases of the internet. But we also find other people that use the internet for fraudulent things. How about the US dollar? The US dollar can truly save somebody's life that is dying of cancer right now. But that same US dollar can be used to fund wars. That same US dollar can be used to do terrorism. And these are the bad sides of every product and technology. But there is hope. The reality is that Nigerian youths, they want wealth, they want freedom, they want respect, but scam is preying on that hunger. In 2016, it was MMM. In 2020, it was rack sterling. And now in 2024, it seems every four years,
2025.
this happened. In 2024, it started 2024 and ended now, crashed in 2025. And we are seeing setbacks. And one of the major reasons why Nigerians are in it is because, you see, on a normal day, the Nigerian population is over 200 million people, and they have over 60% of that population as youths that have digital savvy experience. So you can expect such type of pitfalls to happen.
When you say on the normal day, I wanted to sing Burna Boy. On the normal day, they no fit catch my energy. They can't catch me. You know? See, I've been laughing since morning, right? Because I think this particular transaction, right, is that, you know, other Ponzi scheme, you know, it was not as intense in terms of technology as this, right? I feel CBEX is a group of Yahoo boys that MAGA was not paying. They can't sit down, they can't think. How can I use AI? How can I generate this? How can I be generating fake receipts and all of that? And they came together and they were able to crack it, and they built it so well, and they were able to get a lot of people, you know, because, you know, if you see all the skits that have been going around on TikTok, how you put in $200 and you come back and you collect $400, then you now come back and put $1,000 and all of that until the thing now finally, after you have invested so much. So tell me, right, how did AI, you know, what role did AI play in this particular transaction? Because right now, I'm hearing over 1.3 trillion is gone, like vanished. God, I beg you.
Yes.
How did AI, what role did AI play in this?
AI's role in this, there's a popular African adage that they will use a bucket the bucket that a woman uses to maybe bait her nakedness. They should not bring that bucket into the house. Meanwhile, the woman that baited is in the house with the man in the house, but the innocent bucket is outside. And it cuts across this question that you just asked me, that what is AI role in this whole event? Artificial intelligence, which automates the process of doing things, was just a narrative that this set of fraudulent and scammers, they used to be able to drive into the community craze, the crypto craze, and the fact that Nigerians are in a current survival mode. Artificial intelligence basically was painted like this, that we will use artificial intelligence to automate those trades, so that instead of a human being trading those coins for you and making losses, the artificial intelligence, which is automated, will never make a loss, and then will give you double of your money in 30 days. Imagine, how do you just invest 2 million and then you get it in 30 days, like double of that. So a lot of people have been on survival mode. You know, the Naira is almost at 1,600 for the dollar. And I'm positive that because of the high level of community craze too, because there was a high level of referral system of 30%, 20%, 15% for whoever you bring into that particular system. So they were just interested and intrigued by the fact that, wow, this new technology that we've not experienced. And this is where education comes. If these people had the high level of education that this might possibly be a hoax, they would not have gone into it. So artificial intelligence was just painted in a bad narrative for this situation.
So I heard you say some things. You talked about intelligence, you talked about survival mode. So now the thing is this a survival mode situation based on the harsh realities of our economy, or is a greed situation, or is just plain financial illiteracy? Because a lot of times, right, if you understand the money market, because you see, and this is why I really shy away from all things blockchain, cryptocurrency, and all of that, because I still cannot understand it. If you understand the money market, I mean, I know a platform that if you invest a million naira, at the end of 365 days, which is 1 year, if you fix that money, the best you can get is about 200 and maybe 10 or 220,000 naira on that 1 million naira. So somebody now wakes up and tells me that you're giving me 1 million naira. At the end of 30 days, I'll give you back 2 million naira. If you are financially literate, you would know that that thing is a complete red flag, right? So is this a case of greed? Is this a case of survival mode, like you said? Or this is just a case that a lot of people are financial illiterates?
This question that you just asked me reminds me of the song by the popular musician, Omonako Labo.
Today is a singing day. I have another song for you, Desperado, because people are desperate.
So it's a collabo because the unemployment rate for the youth in this country is about over 40%. The inflation last year was over 24%. And like I mentioned earlier, the Naira is trading at over 1,600 to the dollar. So there are a lot of people, you know, when we went to school, secondary school, university, one thing that they did not really teach us is financial literacy. It is when you come out as an entrepreneur or somebody that is interested in growing more than your comfort zone, you now start learning about financial literacy. And people that have collected the first money from that platform, they made 100%. They want to make 20% referral and still make another 500%, because I mean, there's a promise they give that turn $1,000 to $5,000 in a couple of weeks. So it is also a function of greed. And that's the reason why I said it's a collabo thing.
Absolutely. So you see, touching on the referral thing you just talked about, right? The referral.
Yes.
You know, it is the referral system that always gives life and acceleration and scalability to these platforms. Do you understand? So
yes,
if you check it, a lot of times, most of this Ponzi scheme, right, the reason they're able to grow very quickly is because of that referral system. Is the fact that people are telling other people to say, I did it and it worked. So there will always be first movers advantage, where you go in and you come out and you quickly, you're able to bring out your money. But you then see that, like you rightly said, that greed, that person that is a first mover will still want to go back and because they have promised 500% return. So you see what somebody is saying on YouTube. I think Promise Rennie Mobolaji says they've started another one. And it says it's called FF. Which one be FF again? It says it's monetized fraud. That's what, what's it called? The person is saying on YouTube. Which one is FF? Because do you know FF? So that we can start warning them against it.
FF right now has not gained the type of traction for it to command our attention right now.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 100%
So
sure.
the fact that you know it, I'm beginning to suspect you. It's your duty to know, right?
Yes, in the age of artificial intelligence, your superpower is information.
Absolutely. You know what? Let's go on a short break. When we come back from that break, we're going to continue. Desperado. Thanks for staying tuned. If you just tuned in, we're discussing and we're asking the question, why do Nigerians keep falling for this get-rich-quick scheme, right? Why do they always fall for it? And we have with us Orume. Orume is a blockchain architect, this AI specialist and all of that. They are the ones now that are using different palpitations and whatever to confuse all of us. But please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Send us an add me on WhatsApp as well. We'll add you via video. You can also call our phone line 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. Let's hear what you have to say. Orume.
Yes, my very good friend.
These are the AI people. So how do we start to solve this problem, right? Because we can't just all talk about all the pain and all of that. What are the warning signs? Because I think every time this Ponzi thing happens, we always come out to say it. But now that, AI played a huge part in this particular transaction, what are the warning signs, right, for the people that are not conversant with AI? And, because it means that what this means is if they got their tools right, this is me thinking out loud. It's possible that they never had anything. All those things, they just created it using artificial intelligence, right? It's not like even those MMM that would even have some kind of structure or something that they know they will still fail. But this one, it seemed like they never had anything because they can literally automate every single thing, right? And you think you're talking to a human being. AI is so vast, right? So what will be the warning signs if we want to start to intentionally look into Ponzi scheme, especially that is powered or that is supported using artificial intelligence?
A wise man once said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. One of the ways to combat this is one of the ways you need to know to combat this is to vet hard. Vet hard. What do I mean by vetting hard? Check for licenses. Like this, the CBEX platform was not licensed by the Security Exchange Commission. They did not have CBN, no global regulators. It's only Quidax and Busha that have the SEC license to be able to trade cryptocurrency. So that should have given people some warning. Another thing people can do is to demand for proofs. Demand for proofs, like have they audited that platform? Are they doing KYC? Okay, what is the traction that these people have built? Okay, they have a physical office. Where is the home of these one or two people? You get to tend to do your deep research and demand for these people to give you proofs. Another thing you can do is to start small. I mean, start small. Don't fixing your whole money into it. If you put small there and it refuses to come out, then you can jackpot and then minimize your loss. Another thing that people fail to do totally is that they refuse to learn. In the words of a wise man, if you don't have anything in your head, you cannot go ahead. So they refuse to learn first from an academy like ours, Vorem Academy, where we teach blockchain, artificial intelligence, and give them the tools to thrive in a digital changing economy like this. So these are the things that will help them to know those warning signs and combat it.
So Orume, I did a video and I posted it on Instagram. Before coming on air, I was just, because you see, I can't help myself, but I'm laughing. But let me read a few comments because some more comments are just coming in as we're talking. Somebody says, That's Mariah Falabi Brown. She said, I have never believed in any of these schemes. It's just unfortunate. Some people are really crying. They are in serious pain. She then comes on to say that UWA, she said UWA,
Yes.
with exclamation mark. Someone lost over $100,000. Ah! It's funny, but also not funny. I felt so bad when I heard. Do you understand? And these are like comments. There are so many people just commenting and commenting and commenting on my post. Somebody said that I learned my lesson from Omega Pro over 3 years ago. Even though I invested very little compared to people that sold lands to invest. Are you hearing?
Yes.
And got my ROI, 150% ROI in 14 months and was suspicious enough not to invest way more than before. So let me tell you something. Ponzi scheme would always, right? They will always be prevalent in this kind of economy. The reason being that a lot of times, because of the uncertainty of the economy and how inflation and everything is just hitting us left, right, and center, and because you now hear certain kinds of messages where people will say, expand your streams of income, expand your streams of income, you will see a lot of people, right, look at these options and then say that, you know what, I think I can invest here and quickly cash out or do this and do that. You know, so what is there a possibility that transactions like this can ever succeed, where referrals would happen, people would bring in their money and all of that? And what is the safest kinds of percentile that we should be hearing that will say, okay, that gives a bit of comfort? Because look at what I said. Investing 100 million, the least you can get is 20-something%. Do you understand? If somebody already promises you 100%, you should just know automatically, however juicy that thing is a red flag, right? So how do we start to educate people, right? Create an awareness about Ponzi scheme in Nigeria? What do we need to intentionally start to do?
That question you have asked is a very critical, unique, and important question. Because when we have the solution, then we can no longer fall into problems like this. Financial education, like you made mention of earlier, is one key thing that we must invest into. Just like we do at Orume. On a daily basis, we create content, bit-sized content that teach people about the financial market, about cryptocurrencies, about artificial intelligence, educating the masses so that they do not get to fall into traps like this. But do you know something? A lot of people, they love to entertain themselves more than they educate themselves. And this is where the problem is. It's not as if there is a lack of resources to truly educate some of these people, to truly help them not to be part of this type of Ponzi schemes, but they fail to educate themselves and do this critical thing. Ask question. Most times, asking a question, just one question that you would ask, would save you from entering into the biggest problems of your life. And these people, they fail to take education, and they also fail to ask the right question and get high level of financial literacy. So these are the things that we must curb and tackle for there to be a change.
Okay, so I will keep on, pulling out some questions that I'm seeing from this post, and because these are real people just commenting on the situation, right? So someone said that immediately she heard about it, what she did immediately was to call her mom, right? And just to find out that I hope she was not part of it. So this then begs the question, right? It begs the question that who were the target audience for this CBEX? Because, at first, when I saw that video and I saw people packing doors and doors and whatever from an office in Ibadan, I couldn't understand what was going on. It was not until today that I now traced that video back to this CBEX transaction. So therein lies that it's possible that their target audience were the uneducated, right? The people that had very little education, right? So I want to ask, is this summation true? I mean, were those was it the uneducated people that was their target audience, especially in this CBEX transaction?
The Nigerian cryptocurrency market is one of the biggest markets in the world, with over $56 billion being transacted. And we have a population of Nigerian youths where over 33 million of these youths are digitally savvy. And you know something? For any movement to happen, it is youth that drive that movement. Check the army of every country. They are all filled with youth. Check the people that cause an abrupt change, even with the NSAS. At that point in time when we had it was still the youth. Most of the adults and people that are not so digitally savvy, that are understanding these things, it is still a type of knowledge transfer from possibly the younger generation to the older generation. So their target was to be able to prey in on the greed factor, the fact that people would not be financially educated to just want to invest money and get in money some other time. And then one of the target audience was the youth population that would truly want to do almost anything to feed and fend for their family, even if it means making double of your money in a month.
Wow, this is interesting. So what can we do intentionally? Because, I mean, these are the things that we talk about almost all the time. It happens. Is it that we need to have certain kinds of continuous engagement that is non-stop? Because it seems like most times when things like this happen, there will be that consciousness. Then after a while, a lot of people will be relaxed. Because come to think of it, Rume, even your normal ajo that you do, God bless you that the person that you are saving a job money with decides to relocate with your money. Because we've heard all those things. And like literally, right, when it comes to money is a very tricky thing. You literally can just wake up one morning and somebody decides to be mad. Because even in the banking sector, I took a story, I think it was on Monday, I took a story where some bank people are now being asked to do like a property forfeiture. They had stolen billions from customers' accounts. So this like the tendency for crime and criminality is everywhere, right? But you see, the one that is really painful most of the time is the deception under the guise that these people are helping you grow your money. That is why, you know, Ponzi scheme continues to thrive. Because, I mean, there are so many kinds of scams that have happened. Agric, for instance, there was a particular company that told you that if you paid certain amount of money, you will buy a part of a farmland and the yield and all of that, and that company went down, right? So it's not a today thing. So if we want to intentionally kind of like raise awareness, you know, just to some level to regulate some of the nuances of this Ponzi scheme, how do we start to intentionally do that?
One of the ways is what the government did with the Security Exchange Commission by ensuring that they put out a word right now that if you are not licensed at all as a crypto platform and you are trading FX and doing all of those things, then you would have them to contend with. That will send a message to curb some of the activities that would possibly want to spring up in the shortest space of time. A second thing that you can do is to build networks. Like you said, there was once when you were speaking about this Ajo, there was once when I was still, about 3-4 years ago, I delved into one like that, and we just, before we know, the person zwalakate with our money, and we did not see the person again. And you can imagine.
Hey, La Zuzu, La Zwalakate.
Exactly.
Oh
So
my God.
when you like, let me give you an instance. A lot of people want, when I say build networks, a lot of people want to get rich quick. I mean, my 5 books, I'm an author of 5 books. 3 on technologies of the future, 2 on entrepreneurship and leadership. These things did not come overnight. It took me 5 years to do that. And right now, I get a lot of access because of that. It is because I've been able to build network. And inside that network, I will be able to hear opportunities within trusted circle that will give me legitimate money, and my money will not go for vanishing, and I won't end up in wreck city. So these are the 2 things that are currently going to help.
Yeah. So when we touch on these regulatory bodies, you know, like the Security Exchange Commission, right? What should, okay, so now the thing is, this thing, should we not to some extent blame the government?
What made you say we should blame the government?
No, so because if, for instance, you want to open a bank today, you must have certain kinds of what's it called, licenses, just to give comfort to the investors' money, right? Or to the depositors' fund, right? So the government is well aware that there are a lot of people that are operating. So if you as a government, right, you have put these bodies as checks and balances, right? And we're still seeing things like this. Do you know what it means for a company to do a transaction of over $1 trillion? Over $1 trillion. That is a huge indictment on the government, right? Because as a government regulatory body, you are supposed to have your eyes and your ears on the ground to understand what is going on in your territory. So what exactly, how can we, because when you say regulatory bodies, what are their primary function? Is it just only to give these people license, or they are actually supposed to also check for illegal transactions going on, to also close it down, or even put out a what's it called, a disclaimer or a warning outside to say, do not participate? So they should have a list of these Ponzi companies and put them as red flag. So if you then go ahead to transact with them, it is at your own risk, right? So what is their role as government regulatory bodies?
The role of the government regulatory body is to use accurate data to drive change. And in Nigeria, we find ourselves short of good data to truly drive the type of effective change that we really want. You find a country, a few years ago when I was in Dubai, you could not deposit over the counter 10,000 dirhams. It also happens in UK. You can't do over 10,000 pounds or thereabouts. And these are checks and balances. Then, except you're a big business, then they know you now have to apply for some certain extra, waivers before you're able to do this. The fact that we lack data is one. Another thing is effective structure to execute the mandate of the commission. Effective field workers, effective information feedback system to collect the happenings of what is currently going on in the country. And that has actually gotten way much more easier with artificial intelligence, like we teach at Orume. For example, 3 days ago, when I was looking into this SEBEX situation, and all I first of all did was go on Twitter with my GOK AI, and then I drew out real-time data from it to be able to understand the magnitude and depth of what has happened. And this thing can be done in government institutions, checking on a daily basis what are the financial keywords relating to Nigeria that is being posted on social media platform, what are the financial transaction platform that is working in the Nigerian financial eco space that have been posted on social media. If they can truly block 1 or 2 crypto sites using IP blockers and all that, then they can have someone good with artificial intelligence and prompt engineering, just like I am, and do that for them to draw real-time data that can help them combat this situation in the next 24 hours.
Thank you. So it means that there is a huge, what's it called, gap, you understand, in the structure to which regulatory bodies are operating. Because you cannot be operating in an AI-powered, system using, what's it called, a brick and mortar kind of structure in terms of your regulation. You have to be intentional about also investing in technology that can help you checkmate some of these nuances. And thank you for that, because that is what you just said. It's an expertise that they lack. Because we might laugh about it, but ₦1 trillion transaction, $1 trillion is ₦1 trillion naira, right? Not in dollars, right?
$1 million plus in Ethereum transaction.
Do you understand? So for them to get to that amount of transaction, and you as a government, you are not even aware, and there's problem. It means that we are all in trouble. So anybody can just come and do what they like. Let me take some comments on YouTube. Someone says, Kilo says, he said Nigeria should just start farming. It is more beneficial. I tell you the truth, though. Then Promise said, even if you create more awareness about Ponzi schemes, the greed of most Nigerians, will still make them fall prey. I told people work for your money. Stop looking for quick wealth. Well, I tell you that too. It says the government are all involved. Ewo, trust me, they will strive without government being involved. Or maybe they wouldn't strive without government being involved. Even the MBA governor of Edo State registered. Still packed up. It's okay. It's all right. I don't even understand But you see, so you see what I'm saying in terms of solutions, right, Orume? If a government is proactive and the government understands that, okay, right now, the kind of expertise that we have cannot match the current kind of technology, I would expect by now the government is calling together tech expert, AI expert, blockchain expert like yourself, come together in a room. How can we build a structure in a way that you checkmate? You just sitting in your comfort of your office, you used an AI tool, Grok, to pull out information, and you were able to gather data, right? So imagine if the government was serious about curbing Ponzi schemes, because you already know the desperation in Nigeria is high. There's a lot of, economic uncertainties. So every single time somebody tells you that, oh, I can multiply your money, you see your antennas are up. You're thinking, okay, how can I get this done? So as a government, you already know that the economy is quite trying, or, so you should be proactive enough to then get the expertise that is required for these kinds of schemes not to thrive in your economy. It's just a sad situation, but that's where we found ourselves. If you had one final thing to say, Rume, what would that be?
I would just quote a passage from the Bible. Wealth gotten in haste diminishes what? Quickly. But wealth that is built over time lasts long. And this truly should be a lesson for people that want to get rich quick, not wanting to give sacrifice, give time, learn the process to make real wealth.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you so much, Rume, for your time. And we're hoping that we can have more of these conversations. But wait, is it that we cannot trace these people at all? They don't disappear.
We can trace them. And that's one thing I normally do help some of the security agencies with. Transaction traceability is something that is a blockchain special skill set. So apart from the fact that I'm an AI expert, I'm also a certified blockchain architect, a certified metaverse expert, and an author in these different fields, blockchain, artificial intelligence, metaverse, and all that. One thing that you can do is called transaction traceability, where you take the hash of that particular transaction, fix it on the blockchain, and then use forensic tools to track the endpoint of that transaction. If that transaction is going to be exchanged in a centralized exchange, the person that would convert that money into cash would already have his KYC details in that centralized exchange. And this thing, we can truly use a couple of softwares to track the individual down and get them. About 3 years ago, I remembered when a hack happened, and it was about $350,000. And when that money was stolen, what we did was to use we wrote a letter to Binance. We used the state CID from the state CID here in Benin. And when Binance got that particular letter from the state CID here at Benin, because we sent it from here, they responded to us because we had already tracked that the endpoints where that transaction went to was on Binance. So Binance responded to us with the name of the iPhone, with the name of the person that is holding that account, and we were able to recover that fund. And this same thing can be done. But you know what? Like we said again, the skill set is lacking and is a gap that we must fix.
It's so right. Today's a singing day. I will not fall in Jesus' name. But thank you so much. I think with what you just said now, maybe there's hope for the people that have lost, their income. But please, if it smells like a rat, if it smells too good to be true, it is too good to be true. I think Orume said it all. You have to be patient when it comes to making money. Before I go, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channels at Official Upgrade TV. Like, share, invite your families, friends. Continue to share this link. For all those who have coconut head, please do not fall victim to Ponzi scheme. If you missed our quote for today, it says, "It is now an offense for any entity to operate an online forex trading platform to provide related services without prior registration with the Commission." And this was from the Security Exchange Commission. So be intentional about checking for all of these licenses and all of that, if you must. But me, I run. I know they do. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Nigeria, by extension, Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.